Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My Dharma brothers and sisters and friends, today we are in such a wonderful place again. Yes, this is a beautiful place. I would like to give a talk on blessings and success as related to the Buddha. And this is actually the discourse the Buddha gave in Mangala Sutta. We call it Mangala Sutta. And also he gave it in Anguttara Nikaya. So it's about 4 wheels of success and blessings. So repeating it in different places, that gives you a sense that is very important, I think. Blessings. He gave 38 blessings, but I have 1 hour. I'm not going to give all the 30. I'll give you the beginning ones. Yes. But before I give my Dhamma talk, I like to reflect on something that for me I do on a daily basis. And I will just ask you one question and see if you followed very well the invents of the Buddha. What do you think that the first teaching the Buddha gave to the world? Most people say, oh, he went to Sarnath and gave the Noble Eightfold Path, which I have told you already. But according to what we learned today, what do you think the first teaching the Buddha taught, according to your understanding? Dana?
Generosity.
Another one? First week? Lisa. What happened second week? The people say he looked at the tree with devotion, but I would like to tell you, the first teaching the Buddha taught to the world is gratitude. He was so grateful to the tree that gave him a shade and attained enlightenment. And I heard that actually that tree has very good oxygen. It's a special tree actually. It really gives more oxygen than another tree. And he was very grateful. With that blinking practice in general, gratitude to that tree. And of course later on in the discourse the Buddha said that there are 2 different kinds of people to find. 2 kinds of people very difficult to find. One who is generous and one who is grateful. So when I first heard that one, I said, wow, generosity? I lived in Asia, people were very generous. So when I went to Uganda, started a Buddhist center, I was so surprised actually. Whenever people came to the temple, they were not bringing something. They said, can I take this? I mean, in Uganda Buddhist center, you can see somebody who's from Asia. You could see the person who's a Burmese who come at least with water. But the Ugandan people would come, oh, can I have that battery? Take it. So then I remembered, oh, that's what the Buddha was saying, that there are 2 kinds of people who are very difficult to find, one who's generous and one who's grateful. Yes, and then as far as gratitude is concerned, I quickly formed a few people to help me. And one would say, okay, Bhante, I came to this meeting, but I don't have fuel. Then I would say, my assistant, give him 20,000 Uganda shillings. But before you take the 20,000, he said, no, that's not enough. I said, no, first get that one. And you're grateful of that one, then ask. And then in Uganda, we have even a proverb, we said that that means small meat, you should quarrel when you have put it in your armpit like this. So I said, Buddha was right. People always don't want to give. They just want to get. And also people are not grateful, Yeah, they want to say, oh no, the fuel will cost 50,000, but you're giving me 20,000. I say, no, you have to be grateful first. First, thank me for that. Yes, so, and also, I got to know that I have to be generous in practice generosity in action. So I would actually have events whereby the whole temple could prepare food, and then I call the builders, please come and join us for the meal. And then we had some Buddhist people who had just joined me, And then all the workers, normally they eat food which is not great. But when I prepare that Indian, I make sure that they don't eat that food, they come and eat in the temple. So then one guy said, oh, you know, this is very good. Thank God. This food is so good. One person who has just joined said, no, don't thank God. You see that man in robes? He should thank you. So actually Buddha was right. It's not easy to find someone who's generous, and also not easy to find someone who's grateful. So for me, I took this teaching of gratitude very seriously. When I got in 2000, I was in the United States as a layman. I got a postcard from a friend in England who sent it to me, and this is a prayer, the Dalai Lama, so that as soon as you wake up, reflect like this: I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful I'm awake. I'm grateful that I have a precious human life. So for me, since 2000, that's what I do. As soon as I wake up, as soon as I open my eyes like this, I'm very grateful. Who does that? You should start. You should start follow Buddha's steps. Because sometimes, one time I was a student in India. I'm telling you, I was staying alone in a hostel. One time I woke up with a headache, with the aches in my body. I could not even lift my head from the pillow. And normally I have to go for breakfast by about 7:30 if I go to school. I didn't go to school. And I would hear people passing by. Nobody could even knock my door. I say, I woke up, I slept when I was okay. But how come I get all these aches? Yeah, so one time I was in Malaysia teaching. I slept very well. When I woke up, the whole side was numb, Yeah, it took me a while, almost 3 years actually. So for me, actually, I'm very serious. Before I got, as soon as I wake up, I'm really very grateful. So before you check your message, what somebody is saying on the iPhone, please be grateful that you are alive and you have a precious human life and you are awake. All that. It's a long reflection. I can always send you in our WhatsApp group, and I modified it also. Yeah, where they say that I'm going to use all my energy to attain awakeness for all sentient beings. For me, I smuggled in, including myself, because I don't want to miss the boat. I'll send it to you anyway. So anyway, I wanted to reflect on what you've seen today. Really, the first teaching the Buddha before going even to Saranath is gratitude, because he was grateful to the tree. So now, I did that one also when I was in USA, West Virginia for 8 years. I used to be called to teach at New York Insight. Most of the time I would live West Virginia in the woods, in the wild, and we have a monastery like 48 acres of land, and monks stay in the kutis. One day over there, trees everywhere. So I would go to teach in New York, 10th floor. They had a 10th floor, and there is siren and air, so not clean. And after teaching, I would go back to West Virginia. I'm telling you, I say, So now I developed another gratitude for the tree. So I had a huge tree next to my cottage. I would hug it like this. Thank you for giving me all this fresh air that I was missing in New York, So actually for me, I take two practices seriously. Great giving, and then another practice is gratitude. Yeah, then people, one time I was in Australia, I was in Australia, in Sydney. I was telling them how I practice gratitude and generosity. Say, you're a monk, you have nothing to give. And there are children who challenge me. And also they say, we children, we have nothing to give. And you're telling us to be generous. Can you tell us what to do? So I came up with an acronym that I'm big on acronyms. I don't know whether you noticed that one, but yeah. So now I told them, you have to practice stream. S-T-R-E-A-M. That's what I told the children. They're from Cambodia, Cambodian children who grew up in Australia, who challenged me that we children, we have nothing to give. We don't have even money. And you monk, you have nothing to give. So I told them that yes, you can give in abundance. I tell you, one, S stands for space. Space. S stands for space. Space, it's really very important, especially you, BJ, you've been in Uganda on those motorcycles. They don't want to give space. They fill in every space. And that's why you hear a lot of hooting here, because everybody is wanting the space. Hey, here I am, give me space. So I found out people are not generous of the space. Yeah, so it's very, very important. We have abundance of space, but people don't want to give space. So I taught in prisons in Washington, D.C., and one is in California. It's Sonoma. Somewhere there's a prison in California. I went to teach there. The inmates told me that, you know, one thing that the inmates protect is space. They don't want to invade their space. So people even attached to their space. So from when I heard that, the inmates, they told me, we are attached to our space. I say, oh, why don't I put it being generous of their space? So that's where generosity came in, to be generous of the space. Maybe you take people in the US, and maybe you take that for granted. But in Uganda, in a traffic jam, that's where we get a lot of accidents, because somebody was not giving space to the other one. They are competing for the space, they hit each other, they collide. So I told Ugandan people that if they give me a chance to give a talk, by Minister of Transport, I can reduce accidents by by half. Okay, now T stands for time. Big one. You have to be generous of your time. Most of us, we take time seriously. Do you know the reason? People can give you maybe $5, $10, but time, come in Uganda and stay with me for 1 month. No, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. So people are attached to that time. We are really actually, have time is part of our ego. We are really preserve it so that we don't want to give time, really. So we should be generous of our time. Spend time with people who need it. People who need the time, give your time. Say, I'm going to spend about 5 minutes with you, 10 minutes. Let's just be together here. Then R stands for respect. I was asking all these children, do you have space? Yes. Do you have time? Yes. I'm in abundance. Then respect. So we should respect. Give respect. Most people always want respect. But giving is two-way. There's also receiving and giving. So you won't receive anything until you give. So we should give respect. And in fact, the whole 5 precepts about respect. What about abstaining from killing? Is about respecting life. Giving respect to life. Abstaining from taking what's not given is respecting other people's property. Abstaining from sexual misconduct is respecting marital relationship. Friendship is about respect for relationships. And then abstaining from lying, telling lies, is about respecting the truth, honesty, trustworthy. And also, of course, abstaining from taking drugs is respecting your mind. So even the whole 5 precepts is about respect in Buddhism. And you can talk about vows also if you want. But respect is very, very important. And we see in the modern age, people are losing respect in many ways. They don't respect human life. So then I ask the children, you respect your parents? When they tell you to do this, do you respect them? Yeah, we respect them, but sometimes not. I say, you can give respect. Start now. You don't have money, but you can give respect. And then it stands for energy, effort. Yeah, so when I call you to Uganda, come and volunteer for 1 month, bring your energy. I've already extended the invitation to all of you. Come to Uganda and volunteer. And you give your energy. I mean, you can go anywhere and give your energy. So actually volunteering is also, we don't want to give our energy because we are so much attached to it, you know. It's so closer to our ego, you know. Yes. So that's why we don't want to let go that way. So one time I was teaching in Melbourne, and there was a guy who was on iPad, and the mother said, you know, help Bhante. They had donated the speaker that I was going to take to Uganda. So I was packing it, but this guy was in the meditation hall all the time on the iPad and all that. Then mother said, go and help Bhante pack this thing. Oh, no, I'm tired. I knew this kid is also attached to the energy. He doesn't want even to spend a little bit of energy to help me, you know. So we are really so much attached to our energy. And when somebody says, help me, or we don't want, you know. Children really accept that they have some energy. Then they say they are going to actually spend it, tell their parents that they would like to help sweep here. In Uganda, we have always annual ethical camps, peace camps. And then when the children come, we teach them how to be generous. And then when they go home, they are not told to clean. They just donate their energy. And parents say, what are you doing to our children? They were so rebellious. When before they came to your temple, they were so rebellious. But now they just do the work. And now parents are giving their children because they see the transformation. We teach these children, you know, this to these children. So then A stands for, who can guess A? Generous. We have to be generous with A. Attention. That's why in French they say, faites attention. Faites attention. Yes, pay attention. Actually, especially the new generation, they pay attention to Google.
Yeah.
You have to spend almost, I think I see a friend of mine, Phil, is nodding in approval. So how about your teenagers? Do they pay attention?
Pay attention to their phone.
There's so much, and they have riveted to the screen. And then you tell them, you ask them to pay attention to you. No way. You are competing, my friend. Your attention is competing with something else, Google. And I'm telling you, when you talk to somebody and they have given you full attention, you feel good about it. What if, like, I'm giving a talk and then you're just thinking about New York and all these things? Then you're not giving me attention, you know? So attention we should give, pay attention, because we need it. Also when we need it, people give it to us. So we should give it, we should receive it, we should give it. So then that's A. Then M. M stands for material things, which include money, food, whatever material things. That's stream. But then people say, well, monk, what do you really give actually? Tell us what you give. I had to update stream to streamed. So now I added ED. Now E stands for everything. Except toothbrush, maybe. My old toothbrush, maybe. Anyway, everything that has not been said before. You should give everything except what has been said before. You know? And then lastly, that's where the monks come in. D for the Dhamma. Yeah, D for the Dhamma. Alright? So I tell people in Uganda, may I give God? Everybody say, oh no, I thought you don't believe in God. I say, I'm giving the gift of Dhamma. So the net effect, I give many Dhamma books. My publications always free. I give Dhamma books as a gift of Dhamma. The Buddha said that the gift of Dhamma excels all gifts. That's why people say, invite me to give it Dhamma. It's very difficult for me to say no. But that's the only thing I can give. Yes, so I think this stream is very, very, very important. Again, and this is an acronym that I found out that really we can feel what the Buddha was talking about, to be grateful, to be generous, and then to be also grateful, you know. Yes, so giving is a two-way street, giving and receiving. So I found out this teaching, at least in Uganda, people, they say, okay, we don't have money to give you at the temple. We are very poor. I said, come and volunteer. come and spend some time here. And yeah, because people always, that's the excuse. They say, oh, you know, we cannot help you, Bhante, build a school. They say, come. I know you may not afford to give material things, but come and spend time here, clean here, and all these things. Sometimes, like, we have a Muslim a lady, the husband is not there, and about 5 children, could not pay school fees. I said, come and, it's called barter system, come and donate your energy. The children will go to school for free. So we do that a lot. So really, remembering what the Buddha taught. That seems like the whole Dhamma talk today. Yes, so I think my today's Dhamma talk is that one. But also let's talk about the blessings, because really when I reflect on Buddha's life and the teaching he gave in 2 places, I think it's very important to know. In Pali language, it's a Asevana cha Bharana, Panditana cha Sevana, Puja cha Pujane Yantam Etam Mangala Uttama, Patirupa de Sova Socha Pubecha Katapunyata Atasama Paridicha Etam Mangala Uttama. There are many blessings in that discourse, but we are going to talk about 4, which are very important. I see it in Buddha's life, actually. The first one is associating with the wise people. That's a blessing and a success. Another one, living in a suitable place. Living in a suitable place is a blessing. I think those who have done, who know about real estate, location, and location. Those are not the same thing. They are different things. Okay? Then, Pubecha Katapunyata, having done good things in the past, meritorious deeds in the past. There we go. Great. Ask that question. Pubecha Katapunyata. Punya is merits. Pube is the past. Pubecha Katapunyata, having done meritorious things in the past, is both a blessing and also success. And Atasama Paridicha Eta Mangala Uttama. Atta having establishing oneself in a right path. Now I'm challenged in Uganda, what's right and wrong? Anyway, you ask this question, there's a session, a question you can ask. So now, when we look at Buddha's life, he associated with wise people. That's why he went to Alala Karama. All his teachers, he associated with the wise people. So it's both a blessing and also a success. In fact, in one discourse, the Buddha talks about 4 wheels of success. Those are the 4 wheels of success. If one of them is flat, the car cannot go. We call it flat tire syndrome. When one is flat, no. All of them has to be inflated, full. So now, associating oneself with wise people, I wonder who are those wise people? What are they? And where do they stay? And what are they? People have challenged me. Do you think we are not wise? I've been really challenged a lot. Yeah, the Buddha seems to have drawn a distinction between people who are wise and who are not wise. And the distinction is very clear. Somebody who does things for their own happiness and the happiness of others and the happiness of both, that's very wise. And somebody who is unwise is something who does something for the suffering of oneself, suffering of others, suffering of both. It has to be both connection. That's unwise. So now, I started to make that as a template in Uganda Buddhist Center. I don't care your religion. Just come if you want to be happy and you don't want to suffer. So that's the template. So now, the Buddha said that associating with the wise people is a blessing and also success on a spiritual path. So that's why now many places in the United States, they have many pockets of Sangha. I don't know whether in Berkeley you have a Sangha. Why do we have those Sangha? Is to really associate with the wise people. Because once you are associating with wise people, the wheel keep on turning and it leads into the other. So it's very, very important. Now, when I was in India, looking for the monks, most people wonder why this Ugandan person become even a monk. And after all, I was born as a Roman Catholic. Actually, I didn't plan it. Things were just coming after one thing. As soon as I arrived in India, I was supposed to be studying in New Delhi. They posted me to Punjab University, which I didn't choose. I'm telling you, as soon as I arrived at Punjab University in Chandigarh, I saw monks in Thailand. And I've never learned a discourse about association, but naturally, I was glued to these monks. I'm telling you, they took me in a temple, they gave me food, they told me to meditate, and it just came organically, just with association. So if you want to be successful and if you want to have a blessed life, for us the blessing is about what you do, not something that falls from heaven. You know? So really you need to work on what kind of people you associate with. If you don't have, I volunteer. I volunteer. Isanga. I think here we have really formed the Isanga. Already we're in a good shape. You don't know how long it took me to really feel physical actually. Took me years, but now here we are together, rubbing shoulders, you know. So really, whenever we come together like this is a blessing. And thank goes to Rain and Tricycle and BJ for really making this happen, to bring us together. So I'm very grateful, you know, for that. I don't take that for granted. Thank you very much. So really, actually, when you look at the Buddha's life, he kept on associating with people. That's why he associated with the 5 people. 5 people he associated with them. Though of course they abandoned him and they didn't even respect him when he went. But I'm telling you, when he taught them, one of them attended enlightenment, but others could not attain enlightenment because they still believed in a soul. Now, until he had to give them a full dose. And all of them, they attended enlightenment. And guess what? Those are the people now we are counting on. And Buddhism is everywhere because of those. Would the Buddha do it by himself alone? No way. He had to really teach those people, and those people teach others. In fact, that's what I'm doing in Uganda. I cannot do the work in Uganda alone. That's why I formed schools, so that there will be a wave of people coming in for posterity, you know. So this work we cannot do alone. I'm telling you, even if you can, please don't. That's why the Buddha said that the entire whole life is a spiritual friend. Ananda was saying, oh, it's half. No, Ananda, don't say half. The entire life. Then I was teaching in Singapore, people challenged me. You know, I like teaching around the world because people challenge me, and I like challenges. Singaporeans are very good because they learn Dhamma from many teachers. They say, Bhante, there's Buddha's contradiction. On one side, the Buddha said, be an island unto yourself. Eh? Be an island, unto yourself, and unto yourself. And now, you're saying that the entire whole spiritual life is a spiritual friendship. That's a contradiction. The Buddha is telling us to go and meditate by ourselves, be an island, be a lamp unto yourself, but you're telling us to associate with wise people. Nobody has ever asked me that question before. I say, let me think. Give me a little bit of time. I think, I say there's no contradiction. I brought analogy. When we go and prepare food, it's collective, isn't it? Somebody, at least in Africa, somebody getting the wood, somebody get water. I think also in the USA, somebody has to go errands, and somebody will go. It's actually combined efforts, community, family. But guess what? When it comes to sit on a round table there in the dining, you have to eat the food yourself. Then they say, oh no, children, we have to always to feed them, you know. I said, no, children also, when the food pass this one, here is children's ability to do by that. it's the ability of the child to digest the food. You can't help them digest the food, but you can prepare the food. So it's both. It's both really one's individual work, but also both the entire spiritual life. All right, so now we go to the second will. Second will and the blessing is living in a suitable place. What is the suitable place? I think even people who are really looking for where they're going to stay, house, they want to find a house where it's very closer to facilities, food, electricity, especially in Uganda. We have remote places. Yeah, you can be located in very bad place. Yeah, and have a problem. So for me, when I was establishing the temple in Uganda, I followed that faithfully. I was looking for a place where to put the temple. I spent 1 month because I knew location. I looked, but the last day before I went back to the United States, something happened. My sister told me, "Come, Bhante, you might like this place." So that you've been to my temple, you know, in Entebbe. It's just facing Lake Victoria because I was a scuba diving instructor. I wanted to look at water at least. And it's on a hill, and also it's closer to the airport. It's halfway between Kampala and Uganda. I mean, Kampala and Entebbe airport. It's very suitable. But as a practitioner, as a Buddhist practitioner, and you can draw from even the Buddha. Actually, the Buddha, this is the most suitable place. Yeah, according to Buddha, is in a middle way. It's a middle path. That's why he was very successful. Actually, he was such successful that there were so many temples in this place. That's why it's called Bihara state, because of Vihara. Did you know that? It's because there are so many temples. And temples are called Viharas. So they corrupted the word Vihara to Bihara. That's why it's called Bihara state. Because during the time of the Buddha, there were so many temples. BJ?
Yeah.
How to figure out
You
it?
don't need that. You can throw it over here.
Sure?
This section. Yeah, this section.
I try. Okay, this was the most suitable place in India to spread the Dhamma, to practice. So he had to also locate it the good place. He moved to here, walked until we found the right spot, and it was the right one, according to what we have seen. So I normally give a talk that relates exactly where we are now. You know, it's the most suitable place. So as a practitioner, you have to choose a place where you can practice Buddha's teaching. That means where you can practice generosity, where there is the Sangha, where there is the fourfold community. The fourfold community in Buddhism is monks, nuns, lay people who practice. So I think it's very important because there are some people who don't have those facilities. I remember when I went to Uganda and I found 100 Sri Lankan. They say, you know, we thought you're from Nigeria. We didn't know there's a Buddhist monk here. They said, for us, we've been going to a church and sit there and meditate. So when I created the temple, well, they were very happy. They are very happy because the temple is the place where they can go and give dana, practice dana, take the 3 refuges, 5 precepts, and all that. So a place where you can really practice Buddha's teaching is a suitable place. So is that clear? Yeah, that is a place that facilitates you to continue on the practice of Buddha's teaching. Because now you are associated with people. Once you are associated with wise people, they will really guide you to find a good place. They say, come on together. In fact, if there's a Dhamma talk, a very good teacher comes, they will spread the word through the word of mouth. Oh, Bhante's coming. Yes, because they're very close to each other, you are communicating with each other. Now with the internet, network, you network easily. You can see people really traveling from different places. Yes, and it's amazing when there's a person who's wife, you can do everything. I was so surprised before I left USA. There's a professor from Canada who drove 5 hours and came to Massachusetts where I was. And then after meeting with her, inviting me to teach in Canada, she said, now I'm done. I wanted to meet you for over 7 years. Now I'm going to go. I have to drive back another 5 hours. How many hours is that?
10.
10 hours. It's just happened. I had a cousin in Boston who said, you know, Bhante, 1 hour and a half I drove to see you. That means you're very important to me. I said, no, wait, there's a professor coming to visit me. So really, actually, associating with a wise person is very important, and you always make your way to really find them. There's no difficulty in finding a wise person. So please continue to know that the wheel of success, they feed in each other. So now there's a very interesting wheel coming up. I know, Greg, you might have a problem with this, but don't worry. Having done meritorious deeds in the past, the word in Pali is punya. Punya is another synonym for happiness. Is another synonym for happiness. Buddha, to become a Buddha, he lived as a Buddha to be. So he cultivated many lives doing good things. We call them paramis. I think in paramita. So generosity and all that. In Theravada tradition we have 10. In Mahayana they have 6. Wisdom, prajna, prajamta, whatever. So now these all good things the Buddha cultivated. It wasn't fluke that he got enlightened. He has done many good deeds in the past that bring happiness. Now, when we talk about kata punyata, don't think about past life things you have done good. You can look at even the immediate. What good thing have you done in 1 hour before you came here? So that's also past, isn't it? So you don't have to go too far away into the past. Really look at the good thing you've done in the past. Today we meditated together. You know, meditating is a heap of good things. Especially, I gave you a template for doing good things the last time when we were in Sarnath, the visa thing. If you are wondering, what good thing can I do? Don't go too far. Just look for the Visa, American Express, and MasterCard. Okay? That's called a bunch of good things. Of course, being generous, being kind, smiling, all the many good things. So, even the last second, for me, when I look at good things in my life, and I'm trying to look at good things, I say, well, for the last 1 hour, I haven't killed anybody. I haven't stolen anybody. That's a good thing to do. Imagine if you had to ask the entire world not to kill today, for 1 day, the entire world not to kill. The world will be different. The world will be different. So don't underestimate your ability to take on the 5 precepts. Really. Even 1 precept. Sometime in the temple I ask, how many precepts do you keep? And other people say, no. I said, do you keep 1, 1.5? Negative precept? Anyway, you know what I mean? So really, you can bank on your good things. So Greg, you asked this question, what's a merit? I'll go to that later on. So really, when I was giving a talk, when we are in Sarnath, Varanasi, we talked about what do you leave behind? How do you live your life in a moment? And what are you taking? Exactly, that's what we take. Past our bank accounts, houses and all that, we take really merits, happiness. Where are they kept? That question is coming from a Western man. I'm doing a lot of merit, but where are they? The question comes, this mango tree, you plant it, where are the mangoes? Are they in leaves? Are they in a bark? Are they in roots? Where are the mangoes? This young mango tree, when you plant it, where are the mangoes? Where are the mangoes kept in a young plant of a mango tree? Who knows where they're kept?
In the future.
Are they in the leaves? Are they in branches? I mean, we see sap, we see the roots. Where are the mangoes? But we who plant them, we know that this tree is going to bring mangoes, don't we? Yes, we know. It's causes and conditions coming together when it's the right time. So the marriage we do, whatever we do, causes and conditions, we are creating causes and conditions so that when the right time comes, it will really brings good results. Right? More of that when you have more question about that. So now, another important will is coming, buckle up. That's exactly. Yes, because this is so important. Yeah. So now, again, we are with the lifetime of with the life of the Buddha. You know? He did good things. He associated with wise people. He really lived in a suitable place. Now he's going to establish himself in the right path. The Buddha, I'm telling you, you are going to see some of these places where we're going, where the Buddha actually went to some path of self-mortification. He could even touch his rib and felt it. He was trying his best. Practice. He did also self-indulgence of being born a prince, you know. He did both. I said, this doesn't lead to anywhere. He found a middle path. Do you know the middle path? Again, the middle place, the suitable place. Again, we are getting the suitable practice. While the middle, the Noble Eightfold Path is the right path, but he also did review dependent origination, which is also actually in theory is also the right theory, but in practice it's the Noble Eightfold Path. Who can spell out the Noble Eightfold Path for me? Who can spell it for me? No, you're a student of a very scholar monk. Yes. Who can spell it out? I've already given you Visa, American Express, and MasterCard. If somebody cannot spell it at the moment, let's see, because this is very important. Visa?
Right intention.
Another one. Okay.
Speech.
Right action.
Livelihood.
Right livelihood.
Effort.
Right effort. Right mindfulness. Concentration.
Good. Sadhu. MasterCard is the most famous one. Anyway, so that's the right path. In case you're wondering what's the right path, this is it. That's what our teacher, my boss, figured it out. He figured it out here where we are now, right? And once you really actually establish yourself in the right path, guess what? You get wise people. You get wise people, you are in a good location. You get a good location, you do good things in the past. You've done meritorious deeds. I told you, even the Noble Eightfold Path, we can say the quality control, QC. I call it QC. I use a lot of acronyms. Quality control. Once you really do the Noble Eightfold Path, is what purifies the punya. Because people might be punya, but tinted with greed, hatred, to be firm. I'm doing this good thing, building this temple, I'm giving. But giving can be also out of fear, you know, out of confusion, out of aversion. Oh, I just helping these people, poor people, you know. But also we have to be very careful. Not all punya is purified, but once you really follow the 4 wheels of success, then the right path will purify the way you are going to approach doing punya, giving things to others, helping things which are worth of noble causes and all that. So now the wheel, as the Buddha said, that once the wheel start rolling, that's Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Buddha is amazing actually. Here people are getting talking about chakra here, chakra over there, over here. So the Buddha said, wow, people are so much obsessed with chakras. Why don't I really look for psychological ones and just use the same word chakra? In Pali it's called chakra. In Sanskrit it's called chakra. And you find in Indian tradition, everybody is talking about awakening the chakra, awakening the chakra. I can't locate them even very well. But the Buddha said, no, practice the Noble Eightfold Path, the Dhammacakka. There are 8 of them. They have 8 spokes. You know, a chakra has a wheel. It's a wheel, but it has spokes. That's why the symbol of Buddhism is not the Buddha statue. It's the chakra, the Dhammacakka. is a symbol of Buddhism. I remember I was in Uganda, the Indians, they called me to go in South Africa for a conference. I said, no, I'm going to USA, I can't go. I said, show me your concept. They had put the Buddha as our symbol. I said, no. That's for us, it's symbolic for enlightenment, but our symbol is actually like the cross, it's a way. They changed it. I saved the situation. Yeah. So this is actually the Buddha said, once you establish yourself on the noble eightfold path, and himself when he taught in Saranath that I've set the wheel roaring in motion, and nobody will stop it, not even Brahmas, because they were saying about Maha Brahma is great and all. He even told them those great gods, they will never stop the wheel when it starts roaring. So can we set the wheel roaring together? We are here where it started, so we are roaring it. In fact, for me, when I set myself on a wheel, that's why I kept going. I kept going, and I just decided to just become even a monk and go to Uganda and set the wheel roaring. So my Dharma friends, that's what I can share. 4 wheels of success and 4 blessings. And always we chant it actually as Mangala Sutta, you know very well. Yes. But you should know that it's also 4 wheels of success. Wherever you start, I recommend start the easiest way. Associate with a wise person. Please, as you are eating, don't say, oh, this Ugandan monk, I don't know. You come. Come associate as servant. Yeah? Don't worry, don't say, oh, I don't, oh, he's a monk. No. The rest of the trip, I volunteer to be associate with you. I'm brought here to associate. Let me repeat this just not to be clear. I've been to these places, all of them, but I was invited to really be with you. So find time to discuss, to ask a question about anything. I'm here for you for the rest of our trip. I have time for you. I have space for you. And I'm a little Dhamma for you. Thank you very much. I offer this for your reflection. Yes, now it comes to the very important session that I enjoy the most than even sharing the Dhamma, is questions. I ask questions. Any questions? Greg, you eat always with me. You are the first person among the group to come and sit with me. But today you sat with me, and you say you want to figure out something. Yeah. This is a question to ask not only for yourself, but for others also.
It has to do with merit, because I understand the concept of merit. What I have trouble with is the sometimes preoccupation of accumulation of merit, where certain days, if I release fish today, I do it, and I know it's a meritorious act, but I do it because it's the right good thing to do. I'm not thinking that I'm accumulating merit. And because it's an auspicious day, it's 10 times the merit than any other day. And so I have trouble when people say to do things on a certain day because I get more merit that day than other days. I feel like it's listened to me enough about my concerns about people manipulating, having things, tools to manipulate behaviors. I'm wondering if that's a manipulative behavior just to get people to do the right things, to focus on that. Because I don't care if I get 10 times merit on this day or I get 1 time merit. What I'm doing, in fact, is I'm doing it for myself and all sentient beings. So that's, I have a little bit of problem with the
Okay, great, okay. So, but you understand what merit is now,
yes,
at least?
Yes.
You see, the practice, there are 2 different approaches. And we saw when we live our daily life, we have so much caught up in our work, our family, friends, and all these things. We may not have enough time to really do merit. So then the practice became, we have to understand the word merit. came also from Indian tradition, actually. Those words were there, punya, you know. But Buddha, whenever he came, he pushed them to a higher philosophical value to really include what's wholesome. And of course, as I told you, the quality control is always the noble eightfold path, you know. Generosity, loving kindness, and compassion. So then the practice, as we, can I take this one? It came when I was giving the Dhamma. Okay, now, human beings, as we live our life, you know, we have so many things to do. We are engaged in so many duties. Industry, doing this and this. We have some time as we are engaged in our normal work. We can do our meals, another word for happiness. So that's when we talk about individual. So the practice is individual but also collective. So now, when it comes to meditation also, we meditate in the morning, in your room. But also, there's something when we do together that inspires all of us together. It has kind of momentum. Yes. So we need to hold both. We don't want to do one at the cost of the other. We want to hold that both. So if we have a candle and light it, it gives light, isn't it? It gives light, there's no doubt about it, and you can see where you are. And for me, I really do that in the temple on some days. I say, let us light a candle individually. Light the candle. I say, okay, now pass over this candle to the other person and light it up. Light it up. Light it up. And if there are 100 of them, there's more light. There's more light for sure, other than individual light. So the practice depends on whether you understand that merit is another word for happiness, and also merits can be purified by the Noble Eightfold Path, which is generosity, loving kindness, and wisdom. So whether you are doing it individually, so long as it has quality control. Whether you're doing it together, it's also no problem. But of course, if you're doing punya, whether you're doing it individually or collectively, as long as it doesn't have quality control, it doesn't help so much, because you're doing punya out of fame. You want to be famous, you want to be proud, you want to, because you're doing it out of greed, attachment, out of aversion, out of confusion, out of fear, you know. So yes, there are people who really actually talk about these things, but they're trying to really look at how can we do it collectively. And in Buddhist country, this is what they do. When one person performs a generous act, let's say come into the temple, donate money to build a building, or for the food and all that, one person donates it. But when it comes to dedicating their happiness, they all actually touch each other. Even somebody who didn't give. Also, they will feel that by joining the other people, by even touching together like this, you see them like ducks, you know, touching together. The main one are the one in front, you know, they're really pouring water and all these things. But all of them, they are collectively joining the other person, so that it has a collective momentum. That's the reason why they do it. But for your information, the key is to make sure, irrespective whether you are doing it individually or collectively, it should be not motivated by greed, hatred, and delusion. It should be whatever it is. That's very important. It doesn't matter whether you do it individually or collectively. What matters is that whatever you're doing is motivated by generosity, which is the opposite of detachment, loving kindness and compassion. That's the opposite of aversion, and with the understanding and wisdom, which is the opposite of confusion and ignorance. Because some people say, I'm not going to do merit, punya, because it will keep me in samsara. That's what we call holding the Dhamma. The Buddha used an analogy in what the simile of the snake, holding the Dhamma by the tail. It's just like the snake, when you hold it by tail, it comes and bites you.
Yeah.
So you need to hold the Dharma by the neck. People are afraid. I'm not going to do the more. I'm not going to donate to the temple because it will keep me in samsara. I want to get out of samsara. But that's wrong understanding. Do donate, do punya, but let it be purified. As you are giving, that's why even when people are giving, I tell them, repeat these words. May my generosity be a cause and condition for attaining Maga Pala Nyanasa Pati Oto. In other words, may my generosity be a gateway, be a cause and condition for purifying my mind, for free from greed, hatred, and delusion, and attain a path and fruit, and also attain Nibbana. In other words, the key is, may my ethical conduct be a cause and condition for attaining Nibbana. So we have to be clear about this. Is it clear?
It is, and it kind of validates or confirms the reason I was holding out.
Yes.
For thinking that was that there was a reason for wanting to create a collective thing. So if everybody does something at the same day, same time,
Yes.
it's a much more powerful. I mean, we feel it all when we meditate together.
Yeah. Yes.
And you've seen it when people have done it on a global basis.
Yes.
Everybody does it.
Yes.
There's collective.
Yes, collective, and thank you very much for mentioning that. They have measured it scientifically. Like, if let's say like a September 11 happened, and all this information got collected in the entire world, there's a machine to measure that one. I've forgotten it. It's not the same. The response, it's measured now scientifically. The machine that measures what the impact of good. It's from quantum physics and all that. The momentum. If that's why whenever we do good things, we say all together. Let us repeat: sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. It reverberates than individuals. Yeah. Thank you very much. I hope I
No, you did.
okay, great. Another one. Woo!
Until tomorrow's day.
Get more questions. I like more questions. Because before I became a Buddhist, I used to ask so many questions. I ask question. That's why I love questions. Hmm?
Yes, you bring such a unique perspective to your role as a Buddhist monk. And I'm wondering if you could talk a little about what in your Ugandan identity has informed your Buddhist identity and what in your Buddhist identity has informed your Ugandan identity, the two-way street.
So now the question is, I'm bringing some uniqueness, some flavor.
Some flavor.
It's called chocolate flavor. BBC one time I was in New York, they asked me, "You monk from Africa?" They asked me. BBC. I was in New York, Newark, I think. BBC guy asked me, I have to interview you. I said, "You're teaching in Uganda. How do you teach in Uganda? What about the people that say they have nothing to do with the religion? How do you manage to teach them?" I say, "I teach Buddhism with African flavor." I said, "What is that African flavor?" It's a chocolate. Yes, for sure. African upbringing really informed my Buddhist practice. As I told you, my mother was my first teacher, who told me, if you have nothing to say, keep quiet. And if you have nothing to do, sleep. Go sleep. So then that's how I get into meditation. And when I go to meditate, the first time I meditated, I was very comfortable with silence. Which was, for me, I was amazed when I was living in the USA. The kid misbehaved and said, "Go in your bed, keep silent." It was a punishment. But for me, it was just not a punishment. So I used to keep silence and silence. I got used to 1 hour stretch silence. Nobody's talking. Sometimes look at my mother snoring and sleeping. 1 hour every day. So that became part of me when I was a kid. So that informed my meditation. And another thing that informed my Buddhism is I was a very curious kid, very curious. So like the kindergarten, we leave kindergarten, all the children go home. My sibling, me, I would stay in the garden, observing flowers. I was very observant, and also I had a tendency as I grew up. When I take one path, I don't take it again. So that means you are always going to miss me. If you think Stephen passed here because my man is Stephen, name Stephen, next time I don't use that past coming back. I use this way. So in other words, I got always this kind of attitude, mental attitude, always exploring something new. I always wanted to explore something new. Okay, that path I took it. No, I know it already. Let me take something. That brought me in troubles, always getting lost. Because I always are taking new path, always new path. So I saw that one building on, and people are taking the same path, they've gone the same path. So now, when I was an exchange student going to India, I'm a Roman Catholic, you know. I went, first thing I looked for church. Where is the church? They told me, go. I went there, Hindu service. Listening to Hindu service. Not a single word. I didn't know any word in Hindi. listening, I say, okay, now God is marking me. Now, it's like a roll call. You know, so long as God can see me, I would sit there. God can see me, no problem. So now, I decided to remember that I should explore something new. So I used that template of exploring the roads, the path, new ones. I said, this is the right time now. I have no parents here who's going to stop me from exploring. So off I went, 1990 to Rishikesh. I met these sadhus and ashrams and all that. I went to Sai Baba in Bangalore. So I decided to follow just always different something. So I became officially Baha'i in New Delhi in that temple, Lotus Temple. And that wasn't enough. I said, now I've done this one. Let's go to the next thing. So I always explore something new. That brought me even to what we call initiation into Hinduism. And then I went to Nizamdin, this is a Muslim temple. I went to Sufis. Then I went to, of course, to Tibet. So I'm always a person who wants something new. And I think I fit in very well in American temperament. You are very innovative. You are very innovative. You always bring something new. That's why we have all people who have discovered so many new things, you know. So anyway, that's informed that kind of upbringing from my lovely mother, who is now a nun. So when I told her, when I ordained her in 2008, I told her, if you have nothing to do, if you have nothing to say, keep quiet. Which is, and she listened to me because I'm firstborn. She loved me so much. I said, if you have nothing to do, meditate. So for her, when I first went to Uganda, and then she had nothing to do, I saw her lying down in a small temple. I formed, I said, Mom, you told me if you have nothing to do, sleep. No, meditate. So we all give back to each other now. So now, you're very right. My African upbringing informed my Buddhist, especially at this moment when I went for research. I researched so many African wisdom, proverbs, many things. I found out how they're related to Buddhism, and also how Buddhism actually informs my African teachings. So definitely now when I go to Uganda, things like the love karma, I don't start with the Buddhist love karma.
No.
As soon as I go there and I start my Dhamma talk, everybody start laughing. And once people start laughing, they know what I'm talking about. So, and this is in every in society of Uganda, which means what you do comes back to you. If you eat a maggot in a mushroom, it will eat you. when you go into stillness, it's time to eat you. So this is more of a deterministic approach, but what I know, it doesn't hit the spot. That's African attitude about concept about love karma. They know it, but it doesn't really quite fit in exactly what the Buddha taught. It's just what you sow is what you reap. That's not Buddhist. So what I do, I have now to go to Buddhism and explain them so that they go past their deterministic idea of the law of karma. So it fits in very well that the net effect when I'm teaching in Uganda, I have to teach both. I have to teach the African way of thinking. Like when I talk about contentment, I start with our African way of understanding contentment. Then I bring in the Buddhism. So one informs the other. You are very right. Yes.